to that visceral felt embodied experience. It's not a forcing, it's not a doing, it's just a kind of leaning back and observing and just seeing what comes through.
Yeah, I mean, some people don't get intense visuals and things like that, but the vast majority of people, when they spend enough time going to fall back into that somatic sensation, start to get images. So once you've got the images, you're re-experiencing the entire thing. Once you have, fully experienced it, your goal is to get to a place where your body accepts that it happens. Accept does not mean approve, though. Accept means, okay, I accept that in this moment I feel desperately alone. I accept that there is nobody here to help me in this moment. I could, whatever needs to be accepted that's not being accepted. So the tissues of the body relax around the experience. That means you're ready to go to this next phase, which is where we start to bring an active resolution to whatever it was that we experienced. So instead of just almost like passive witnessing and experiencing, we're now altering the memory.
It's almost like the first stage would be acceptance in a way to allow digestion and integration.
Yes.
So you're blocking, all the cell membranes go, nope, not going to be in there.
Yes.
And so it just sits outside. And so this is developing the resources within yourself and the safety within yourself, which is probably other factors to be able to get to that point, reducing the static. And then suddenly you're like, all right, I'll try it.
Yeah.
And then you open up and they're like, okay, now process next.
And that next aspect is the resolution. So you bring whatever needs to that memory would have improved the situation. So let's say that you're in a memory where you need a defense. You bring in the defense. So this is turned from a memory experience to an active visualization experience. After you go through the resolution within the memory, you then move to a safe space. So we're creating distances between what happened and what is. Because when people are stuck in the past, right, they need to actually help their mind to accelerate things forward to a point where they realize that was then, this is now. So bringing them into this safe space, you then create a resourcing experience of almost amplifying the needs that showed up within that memory, but within the context of the safe space. This can progress all the way towards somebody fully integrating with whatever aspect is stuck in the past and the trauma, or that aspect chooses to stay in a safe space. Either way, you've changed your entire point of attraction. It doesn't matter whether that aspect you decides to stay in a safe space and continue to resource from whatever improvement you're creating or come back fully into the body in the here and now. It's very unlikely that a person, like an aspect that was stuck in the past, will want to do that, because most people who are starting this trauma work, the way that they've created their adult life is not really conducive to what most parts of themselves would consider safe or would want to step into. That comes later when somebody puts their life together in a good way.
Do you feel fully integrated?
No.
Yeah. What do you think what would fully integrated look like, feel like for you? Or is fully integrated even a thing? Who is fully integrated? Jesus?
No. Well, yeah, you're asking the wrong person. I'm as a spiritual teacher, I'm going to tell you that full integration is enlightenment.
Yeah, what is that?
It's a state where your mind and beingness matches the frequency of source itself. But that makes it very short-lived, doesn't it? Because source is constantly expanding, so you have to keep up with it. So no matter what, if you achieve enlightenment, it's not like it sticks with you. You have to continue.
Keep chopping wood.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of my lack of integration is around relationships, and I just went and made it a lot harder for myself because, I feel like if I had stayed out of the public light and not made my life so damn complicated and unusual, I would be doing real good.
Why do you think you did that to yourself? What deeper, subconscious, universal, spiritual?
I was meant for this.
Something. Yeah.
I chose this.
Yeah. Why do you think you chose this?
Because I had a lot of the answers. I wanted to assist in the progression of mankind. I wanted to assist in the picture of life on Earth here. I always get scared going near the subject because people don't like doomsday attitudes, but
fuck them.
Well, humanity is slated for extinction. Is the reason that I'm here.
So humanity is
slated for extinction. They've been
inevitably for sure, but you feel like soon
they've managed to put themselves on the radar of some extraterrestrial beings that are a cleanup species. Human beings have attitudes towards...
What is a cleanup species? Say more about that,
A cleanup species is let's say that there's one organism that gets completely out of control, and so there's another organism that comes in and essentially eradicates that one because it was a problem species. Redundancy is not something this universe appreciates. So whenever there's a species that keeps repeating a pattern over and over and over again, at the risk of the bucking of their own expansion current, it's not something which is well received.
What does expansion current mean?
There needs to be, in this universe, a kind of a progression in order for it to be entertaining to Source. Source itself is not as much about beingness as it is about learning about itself, at least at the current moment.
Oh.
It learns about itself through personal and universal expansion, which is why desire is such a compelling element of the picture of self-awareness. So what that means is, humanity has been desiring something like utopia, right? And yet they keep making the same mistake over and over and over again.
It seems like we're getting further away from it in a lot of ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, that is the reason that humanity has gotten itself in so much extreme trouble.
So Source gives a shit.
Oh, yeah.
What is Source?
The amalgamation of all things in existence. What?
So is there a vector of Source? Is there like a point of intelligence?
Yes, that's an aspect of source energy. So some of us call that source mind. It's like the totality of accumulated information that is perceivable by source itself. So you could consider that the conscious mind of all that is amalgamated.
Yeah.
That doesn't account for the subconscious, though, of which contains all potentials that have not yet been seen or realized or actualized.
Is there anything outside of the self? Like you could have like a very solipsistic, eventually it could lead to like kind of nihilistic type perspective. But the idea that, everything is projection, and without this brain being able to formulate and organize